Today we're here to talk about and demonstrate the proper bending techniques for Home Position K. Home Position K deals with hazmat and non-hazmat parts.
The proper PPE for Home Position K is a pair of cut-resistant gloves. We will always wear them when dealing with knives, wood, and metal.
You will begin by retrieving your cart and signing into AS400 on the RF screen. You will then type in RCO5 for bending and press enter. Proceed to retrieve either a hazmat or non-hazmat bending unit from the sort station. Scan the case label on the bending unit to be processed and proceed to the location listed on the RF screen. The location on the screen reads as follows. The first letter represents the home position that the package is located in. The second set of letters and numbers represent the aisle, while the last set represents the shelf the package is located on. Once you are at your location, scan the location. The number of parts needed to be bent will appear on the RF screen. For this home position, you will need to take one indicated part out of the bending unit and scan it to verify the part.
Check sort should have checked parts for irregularities. However, you must check this again. The way to remember this is to think of the acronym TULIP. The T stands for transportation information. This means to check to make sure that the transportation label is covered. The U stands for the UN marking. The UN marking must be legible and clear. L stands for label. There must be a Class 9 label on it. Class 9 labels must have 13 stripes, 7 black and 6 white, that are even in width and spacing. The top of the Class 9 label cannot wrap around the fold of the box more than 1/4 of an inch. Check to ensure that there is no black line running through the middle of the Class 9 label as shown. These are outdated and may not be used. I stands for the identification number. This identification number must be clear and legible. P stands for proper shipping name. The boxes must also be secured and taped properly and be free of all damage. If there is any damage to the packaging, write up a hazmat concern form and place the package in the quarantine area. Remember, TULIP. Concerning the part labeled, the country of origin located on the part and the RF screen has to match. If it does not match, take the part to the drop zone. Do not relabel it. All labels must be printed correctly as well, with all aspects of the label included.
If you check a package and see there is nothing wrong, begin to physically bend the part.
When bending, be sure to follow the proper ergo body mechanics. Use your legs when lifting. Keep the load close to your body. Avoid twisting at the waist by squaring your body. And use 2 hands when carrying heavy and/or awkward parts, such as fire extinguishers.
Also, be sure to place the parts into the location using the proper bending sequence. Make sure to stack the parts facing out and right side up when possible.
When you are bending to low locations, make sure to squat. Bend at the knees, not at the waist. When you are bending to D locations or above, use a ladder instead of reaching. When you find difficulty reaching for a box out of your range, use a grabber to assist you.
After bending, you will then enter the quantity of parts you have bent into the RF. If the number of parts you bin matches the quantity you were supposed to bin, then move to the next location.
If a hazmat package is damaged, bin the good parts and type the quantity in that will fit in the location. The RF will ask you if you are sure that is the correct quantity. You will type Y for yes. The RF will then ask the reason why, and you will enter reason code 1 for damaged. You will then move the part to the side, away from the parts to be binned.
Sometimes it is necessary for you to bin many parts in the same location. This usually occurs when binning key fobs. Sometimes key fobs come in boxes of 150 or bags of 50 from the supplier. In this case, you may just bin the box or bag as normal. However, if the parts come with an 8HB label, if there is a bag less than 50 or a box less than 150, you must count out each individual part as you bin. It is best to do this by taking 5 parts out of a bag, count them on the cart, and then bin them.
Home Position K also deals with paint. This paint expires after 2 years. For this reason, you must first check the bottom of the paint for the Julian date. The Julian date is the bottom set that begins with SE. The numbers after SE correspond to a month and day shown here. The year is also stated in this set of numbers. For example, a 6 represents the year 2016, while a 5 represents a year 2015. Also, ensure the number and quantity is correct, and there is no leakage. Then you will bin the paint to the back. This is to ensure that the older paint is picked first.
When you are finished binning all undamaged parts, take the parts that are damaged to the quarantine area. The RF will ask you to scan drop zone. You will scan 1KAA0001. The RF will then ask you to scan the designated 8FB for the quarantine. You will fill out a log sheet that asks for the part number and quantity. Then place the part into the quarantine box. These parts will then be held until they are repacked or scrapped from the system. The parts will only be repacked if there is a necessary VOR.
When parts are scrapped, there are 2 barrels, one for seat belts and one for airbags. You must log all the scrap that gets placed into the barrel. The barrel may not be more than 50% full. If you have the first piece, you will need to remove the bunghole cover, tape the cover to the lid, and tape over the bunghole. Then label the outside of the barrel with the appropriate hazmat markings. For paint, the paint scrap bucket is located by the paint aisle. Make sure that all paint is scrapped, is logged on the sheet, and scanned to the 8HB.
Sometimes binning irregularities may occur. When coming across a part or parts that are not logically assigned to the case, or parts that are not recognized by the AS400, the first step is to determine if the case is a direct bin or a check sorted case at 8FB. If it is a direct bin case, first determine the problem type. The problem types are overage, quantity of parts exceeds quantity listed on RF screen, mispack, parts are not assigned to the case MU, and other, which is any other problem. Then the RF screen states is direct bin empty. Type in N for no. Then scan the part number label and enter the physical quantity counted for the part number. Press enter. The screen will then say, is the quantity entered correct? You will press Y for yes. If it is a mispack, the screen will prompt you to follow the NAPCK SOP. If it is an overage, the screen will prompt you to scan an MU, retrieve an 8HB MU, and scan the barcode label. Once you hit enter for your overage, scan the parts into an overage MU. The RF will take you back to the put away or RCO5 screen. The overage is now processed in the AS400. If you have additional parts left in your case to process, you can orange F2 to back out of the RCO5 screen and begin the process again. Otherwise, retrieve a fast sheet. You will complete the appropriate sections on the left-hand side of the fast sheet. For an overage or mispack from a check sorted case, you must determine if the parts left are an overage or a mispack. Then obtain a QIR form from the designated area and mark the appropriate box. Place these in a separate area. After you are finished binning all parts, make sure to inspect your returnable for damage before picking up any new assignments. Walk around the returnable and check the runners and doors. If a returnable is damaged, fill out an orange damage tag to place on the returnable, stating the problem before sending it down the trash lane. You will then receive a new case to bin and start the process over. Remember these key points. Always wear gloves when handling knives, metal, or wood. Use a ladder when packages are located in D or above locations. Squat or kneel when packages are on lower shelves. Always use proper ergo techniques. Remember to always double check hazmat packages for damage, proper labeling, and markings. Place them in the quarantine if necessary. Job efficiency is important at NAPCK. Therefore, you must follow all of these guidelines closely to ensure the job is done properly.